All right, this is the February 20th, 2025 Stormwater Task Force meeting. Don't see any members of the public, so we'll skip over public comment and announcements, and we will get straight into the business.
Oh, I heard the door.
Somebody at the door.
Is it? It's John.
Howdy.
Hey,
We just started.
get the camera to turn on.
The eyes are lit up.
Weird.
Just got really quiet. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there it goes. Can you hear us, Jen?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Oh, it's going through your laptop.
Oh, yeah, let me try to fix that.
Do you have the
Ooh,
owl
there.
connected?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you're on the owl.
Okay.
Yeah, Zoom's just giving us a hard time. But I think we're good.
Yeah, I can hear you. If you can hear me, I think we're good.
Yeah, perfectly clear now.
Okay.
Tim, do you gotta go through the spiel at the beginning or?
Oh, sure. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of the discussion. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. If anybody was here or online, we'd talk about Zoom, but there's nobody there, so we'll go from there. No public, no announcements. We'll go straight to board discussion. And I see, is this CEI's kind of first draft of our whole thing?
Yeah,
Wonderful.
the rate structure anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Jen, let me email it to you.
Thank you. I was just gonna ask if that was possible.
Yeah. What did I say there? All right, Jen, you should have it.
And there it is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Wonderful.
You read this, Bill?
Just now.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, do you have the Reader's Digest version or no?
So quick skim through, they've given us a couple things. We've got the breakdown of what percentage of the revenue everything will make up. We've got the alternatives with each ERU being worth either 60, 75, 90, or $100. And how that'll break down. They've given us the tier structure as well, which is nice.
So I have a question about the multifamily. If anyone got to section 3 yet. So multifamilies are assigned in ERU of 2. Equivalent residential unit. You gotta remember that. Does that include places like, what's it called, Arrive? Where it has many dozens, I don't even know, hundreds of,
So
how is that?
what it's saying here, that would probably, we need to double check, but that would probably go down into this tiered list, which is based upon how much square footage.
But that says non-residential
It
properties.
does say non-residential, you're right.
I just don't know how, so they get that amount, and is it split equally, split among the, let's say there's
Oh.
100 units? Did
Here we
anyone
go.
get down far enough?
We have one here that is page 5. Top of page 5 here, just lists number of years based upon impervious square foot.
Yeah, see, this is confusing. It's
I
because
agree.
in the one hand, it's like all single families are given an ERU of 1 based on the median square footage of 4,200 square feet. But then it goes on to say, then it breaks it into impervious area of 4,200 to 8,400 square feet, get 2 or ERUs and so on. So that's the table 3-3, page
Yeah.
5. But that says, so I'm confused. If
It
table
seems like it's
3-1
ignoring. things like
ignoring table
Arrive.
3-1,
No, yeah, well, it seems like these tables are totally ignoring anything that exists outside of a residential multifamily. But is a residential multifamily would only be, would it consider Arrive that? Because Arrive doesn't fit in anything else but to only be 2 ERUs for Arrive, or that other apartment complex doesn't make sense.
right, right. And then for a single family, I have no idea how to figure out how much impervious surface I have, but how do I know, are all single families?
Looks like all single families are 1.
Except but if you keep reading, it sounds like then there's a tier based on the impervious area square footage.
So I think what I
And
was reading was
An apartment building
every,
is generally considered commercial real estate.
For simplicity purposes, all single-family residential houses pay the same fee equivalent
Yeah.
to 1 ERU based on 4,200 square feet.
But then keep reading and it breaks it into over 4,200 square feet.
So I just, oh, but that says non-residential still. Cause according to a quick search here, apartment buildings are generally considered commercial real estate. So I don't know if that puts it in the commercial bucket. But that would also include like Walmart.
Is it possible that he's saying that all single families pay tier one and multifamilies pay tier two, but then when you get to commercial, all of a sudden you start to look at the tiers?
Could be.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
It-
Still
it-
though,
Except they specifically pull it out as non-residential properties.
Single family residential, multifamily, yeah. there
so
you
if
go.
you look at the breakdown, he has 132 commercial properties. I can't, that doesn't sound like it would, I mean, I guess he's saying that it definitely includes Arrive. And it includes other apartment buildings that are in Lunenburg. But where do they fit into the actual rates?
If that would be the case, I'm assuming here, although we need to clarify this, that then goes into the table 3.3, which lists them by impervious area.
Well, those are typical annual bills though, based on the impervious area. So that, to me, that's just saying what the typical bill will be. It still doesn't show us where something like an Arrive would be, where we have the rate schedule with single family residential, multifamily residential, and then non-residential. I'm not seeing,
Yeah, the
where the-
non-residential is the part that trips me up too.
Mm-hmm.
so, and then, looking at what he's projecting for non-residential, I mean, those all seem very low when you're looking at something like Arrive, even when you're at a 10.
Yeah.
So then you're probably looking at Walmart, Arrive, supermarkets, stuff like that. 18,000 seems pretty low. And I can't imagine Arrive would be below the 10.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the non-residential is what is tiered based on impervious square footage. I think it's not worded. That would be my guess. The section 3 paragraph, the first paragraph is just not clear enough.
So our
Because-
first question is, where does Arrive fit into this?
So it says, additionally, all multifamily properties, regardless of number of units, are assigned an ERU of 2.
Yeah,
But that, if they're saying apartment buildings are commercial, it doesn't fit in there. Because that's still multifamily. And then it's like commercial is just left out.
it's just not clear, because then based on the town specific ERU, a property regardless of land use type with impervious area of 4,200 square feet or less gets the 1. And then it says property with an impervious area of 4,200 to 8,400 gets 2, and so forth. So is it still property regardless of land use type or not?
Yeah.
It's just not very
And-
clear enough for me.
What about places like that are condos? Are those considered single family or are those,
Right,
I watched the last meeting and we were talking about like Village of Flat Hills and places
Mhm.
like that, but
Mhm.
so what are those? Because they're technically one big property, even though. So I feel like we have some stuff to clarify for sure.
yeah,
I'm kind of in the frame of mind, well, quite frankly, the stormwater is the infrastructure in the whole town, not just their property. So I sort of see it as a way of dividing the town's obligation to provide stormwater to the whole town on individual taxpayers. So it's really not their property that's the issue, it's the whole town and that's their share. That makes sense?
But their share is based on their property.
I like
Right.
the statement that says for simplicity purposes, all single-family residents pay the same fee.
Yeah, but all the sentences after that,
I
Or
wonder if,
why?
I wonder if implicitly that applies to the commercial, and he just didn't put that in.
cause then it's.
That
But-
That makes sense. to
Arrive
me.
are renters. We can't charge them individually.
No, what we
Yeah.
would do is we'd charge Arrive itself and then they would
Right.
break the fee on their.
Yeah, it's gonna-
renters.
And that's where the confusion is, because where do they fit in? If we're just charging Arrive and they're not. And the same thing with the Village of Flat Hills, or those, I guess we're saying those would be considered single family? 'Cause technically,
Yeah,
they just pay taxes normally.
Woodlands has a mix of single family and multi-unit.
the way the rest of that paragraph of section 3 goes, it does make me think that it's based off of table 3.3. Like,
That everybody's property is,
no, once you get beyond 4,200 square feet, it moves onto table 3.3. That's my assumption. That's how I'm reading this. We could deal with clarification still.
yeah, I
So-
mean, I could read it a lot of different ways. I think we just need them to,
Yeah,
If you look at the number of properties that fall under 10 though, there's only 3. It seems like there's
What-
there's gotta be a couple missing.
Oh,
yeah.
So what's 3? More than
Walmart?
210,000 square feet. So probably, it wouldn't just be Walmart, it would be that entire plaza would be one. Pay, and then they would,
And then
District.
what about like
Where's
that
say
big,
property?
huge new
table
Ah.
3.1.
garage that's
Okay.
on Lemonster Shirley Road, and then Arrive, then you have the
Yeah.
other apartment complex behind Electric Ave. I mean, I feel like there's quite a few properties that would, there's more than 3. There's gotta be more than 3.
This table kind of backs up what I was saying about single families are all tier 1, multifamily, and then all of a sudden, then everybody else you tier based on their impervious area, and that's what non-residential. 'Cause
That's what that table says, but it's not what
Yeah,
the paragraph
I,
says.
I think we should talk to him. It would be nice if he was available at this meeting.
Yeah.
We could ask him if he meant that. It just kind of makes sense to me. If you use the argument that residents of the town all have to split the cost associated with maintaining all the infrastructure in the whole town, then every resident should have an equal share. So maybe everybody in a condo should pay the same share as a tier 1.
Yeah, and it looks like he might have split it up that way. As far as tier 1, it's just. What falls under the other, I don't know. I can't make sense of this.
I'll get clarification from by the next meeting, right?
Yeah.
When I get it out, I'll email it out to you.
Okay.
So he also gives us the 4 alternatives.
Do we know what the 3 properties are, by the way?
3 big ones?
Is one Keating?
heating,
Probably, yeah,
Keating is gargantuan.
yeah.
And the other thing about Keating is, isn't the nature of the business to a byproduct of what they do, generate a lot of dust and silt and doesn't it get into our stormwater?
Yeah,
So aren't they like really like industrial contributor to what's going on?
yeah, so they're probably one of those top 3.
Can't help but feel
Like
like
the Walmart
honestly.
Plaza and then maybe the big warehouse on Lemonster Shirley Road, maybe?
oh, right.
It's impervious surface, so it,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, definitely
the warehouse
because
for
the warehouse
sure. I'm
itself
just
is
wondering how much
300,000.
impervious Keating has.
It must be huge.
Wait a minute.
Well, a lot of it is like their mine's probably not.
Their wash plant.
Right, right.
Right,
How many
So-
buildings do they have? I don't know.
Cause it's,
they have a few, and then the big parking lot of the maintenance garage area, that's
Yeah.
huge, that's
Okay.
over 200,000.
Okay.
And are those considered one property? Because they have, some of them have separate addresses, like across the street from each other. And, or is that, yeah, because Keating has a property, they're on both sides of the road.
How many tax bills do they get? That's what shows up in the GIS map, right?
Are they still mining at that quarry?
As far as I know, I don't know if they, through the winter, I don't think they do,
Okay,
but.
so what do they do with the dust?
Definitely.
What do they do with the dust from the byproducts of their, do they have to break down the rocks and
They,
the?
so they, in their wash plant, I work for a company that's very similar. They, as they're crushing, they spray water on it, and that brings it back down to the ground. And then they take anything that is like shaken off of the material or comes down, that becomes like your septic sand and things like that. So they try
So
to.
what do they do with the water that runs off of that process of closing down?
It
You know,
goes
like-
into like recharge areas.
Okay, does it go into stormwater?
Yeah, so they have a lot, it shouldn't be going into the stormwater. I can't say that it's definitely not. But their runoff goes into recharge areas that are like big retention ponds.
Okay,
And then it gets recharged.
okay,
But there's definitely, they have a lot of buildings, they have parking lots, they have things
Yeah.
like that definitely contribute to impervious area.
I gotta be straight with you, honestly, they're gargantuan, producing an enormous amount of product that goes
Yeah.
into water. And
And then also Powell has has a pretty big area too.
Yeah,
So it sounds like there should be more than three,
yeah,
but maybe.
Way more
Keating
than
is
3.
Addresses, and maybe that gets,
Oh, so you're saying
But
it's
each
like.
of those addresses should
Yeah,
be
it's-
included in that 3, I feel like, because those are pretty significant sizes.
Me asking for the list of properties for each tier,
oh boy. I don't know that we need the single family residential. That's,
yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
1,000.
I mean,
Minus tier
what,
one.
really, we're just looking at like. The top couple tiers, cause it's only, like a dozen or 2 dozen. For all the larger ones.
So. If we assume these tiers, everything is correct. And we look at the total that you collect from the 4 alternatives. How much do we need to collect, Bill? Cause it's kind of like we have to work backwards of,
Right, so I opened up that preliminary
yeah,
budget I kind of put together and,
so this is that spreadsheet that you had the action item put together.
yeah, is it up there?
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, just personnel alone, they had it 277,000, so that doesn't leave much for anything else.
Yeah, I thought 1 million was stuck in my head,
Yeah, that's.
He asked for a
bottom line.
million up front. That was his
Yeah.
long,
but
What,
I thought 1 million annually. Like keep out,
Well,
how much of it came from?
there was, what,
Chapter 90 or?
well, that wasn't included in this calculation, but
Oh,
there was like the one-time equipment purchases, 225,000, right? So you could kind of take that out,
cause you see how the highest tier, what that gets us,
yeah,
it falls short.
yeah,
but he's also got chapter 90 money. So it's gonna have to be a
Right.
chapter 90 to
So-
get
Oh,
I mean,
do you think we're still gonna get chapter 90 money?
Oh, goodness.
that's state money, it's not federal money.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah,
Oh, is it? It's state.
yeah.
It's state,
Still,
I know.
That
There's a
feels
bill
safer.
to increase it, right, to double it. Whether the bill passes.
we just found out today a company isn't renewing with us because they lost federal funding.
Yeah,
Um,
but, I mean, this is kinda high end, my guess
Yeah.
there was kind of top of the line Cadillac, you know.
And you don't wanna use
Charge
chapter 90
more.
for salaries.
No,
That would
you
have to
can't.
go
You
towards
can't.
operating, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Chapter 90 be specific
Yeah.
projects.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which you already have mapped out. You have a long-term plan of chapter 90.
I do, and there's a lot of drainage work in there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Mhm.
We have more roads to get on the list too, so we'll get a couple more nickels,
Yes, we're trying.
I hope. Okay.
So then the next question, can we even sell to the public the lowest tier, right?
$100 for a single family house,
Well, that'd be the top tier, right?
that's a top tier, which falls short. I almost feel like we have to weight the higher tiers a little more.
That
Yeah.
was my question. So for like single family, multifamily, they stick to the 60 or maybe the 75, and then for when we get into like commercial properties,
Mm.
that goes to like alternative 3 or alternative 4.
So the only other thing that I can think of is there are line items in the budget today. The town budget today, they're allocated to you.
Mhm.
So that's gonna go away, right? The town's not gonna have that obligation anymore. Is that true? Cause it doesn't make sense if you have this stormwater enterprise, which
I
is
would
funding
say
this.
my drainage line would go away, probably my stormwater line would go away.
I would think they would.
Yeah.
To an
Because
enterprise.
it's kind of double dipping, right? Cause the whole purpose of this is to
Right.
do all the stormwater for the
Right.
town. So you've got those line items that are gonna come out.
Mhm.
So in my mind, that equates to a tax reduction to the residents on that side. And we should take credit for it, if you want my opinion.
There
And if-
won't be a tax
It will be
reduction.
the-
Well, okay,
It'll be-
so that being said, those line items are gonna come out and they're gonna get allocated to other
To other things.
town
Right.
functions.
Yeah,
So when people look at this, they see $250,000 additional liability that the residents are gonna have to take, but my opinion is you should subtract what the line items are in the town budget from that. And that's the real delta.
Can those line items not be transferred over to the stormwater utility?
That's, so the town
No.
through its tax base, that's kind of.
No.
This
they
becomes
can't
an
do
I
it.
think the whole point of
enterprise.
this is to tell people how much it costs to maintain the stormwater, and this is what it's gonna cost, and this is all gonna help.
Sure.
So if you do it to two different ways, it's gonna kind of like,
Sure. I mean, if that's what the town is using the money for, then the town is still using the money for that. It's just allocated through the stormwater utility instead of
okay,
the.
so people are saying we're gonna get taxed
No.
twice for the same
Okay.
thing. In my opinion, it should come from here, and that line item in the town budget should go away. Should go to something else, that's my opinion.
Sure.
And then you should present it as take those line items and add them up and subtract it from this residential piece. That's my opinion. And do you have any memory of what those line items are?
It's about 175,000.
The sum of all those line items?
Yeah.
And that makes it about $35,000. 40,000 dollars. That's in that, on that first tier. That's not a big change. That's how I would sell it, and it makes sense. It's perfectly legitimate. It's honest. It's a legitimate, honest credit that we can take advantage of. So if you look, actually, that makes alternative 4 look a little bit more appealing. Instead of 359, it's more like 180. That we're adding to the tax base on the residents.
but this is
Any
a
pushback?
separate standalone bill. that the residents will get, right?
Yeah.
That was somewhere
Yeah,
back here.
Definitely right.
So it's,
Exactly right.
we're still gonna have a 2.5% increase in our taxes,
Yep.
right? In the tax levy, plus new growth, so your property tax will go up in addition. There's this bill
Yes,
that's gonna show up.
Right.
So,
so it's a way of basically saying the town's gonna get another $175,000 for. In tax income, sort of in a roundabout twisted way.
they're
Does that make
not,
sense?
well, the town is,
So you can have that 175,000 line item, which is reallocated to other purposes.
yeah, but the
Well,
residents are
it's-
still paying that money, that's being
Yes.
reallocated, and also in addition, paying this money,
Yes.
that includes that 175,000.
So realistically, they're.
So
gonna
I think
see
that's a
that-
hard sell.
Okay, well, but it's the way it is, the people wanna be honest, I'm honest with them, and they wanna see all the bookkeeping, and I don't blame them, and I'm the resident who wants to see it. That makes sense to me. You're right, so we are asking them for that much more money. For the purposes of this, and that money that was allocated to Stormwater would be reallocated to other purposes.
Yeah. So the residents are paying that amount that's reallocated for other purposes and
Yeah.
the additional.
So, but that doesn't sound like a lot of money, that's sound like a lot of money to me, so 175, what's the budget, 40 million? That's,
No, it's peanuts, doesn't get us far at all.
But that's why we're doing this. We need more
I
money.
know, well, I'm just saying, $175,000. What, is it $40 million budget, is that what it is?
Give or take.
Okay.
Who knows this year?
That's
Have
a
you
half
seen
a
it? I haven't
percent.
seen it yet.
It's a 0.5%. If I calculated that correctly. Who's good with me? You want to do a double check for me?
Sorry, I was thinking about something else. What,
Mhm.
what did you want me to do?
$175,000 divided by 40 million, which is like proposed, I think the town budget is. Times 100%, it's 0.43%.
Yes.
So it'd be a way of kind of. Getting an extra 0.43% in tax revenue from the residents.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong? Am I wrong?
I feel like it's
Right.
not extra, it's still their money. That's what people are gonna say at the end. It's still, you're still, I'm paying the same, my property tax is going up the same amount and I'm getting a utility charge.
Yeah.
That's at the end, that's,
That's what people are gonna see.
cause that's what they're gonna feel.
It
That's,
is what it is. Are they gonna ask for an override this year or?
I don't know yet.
If we need to override, I mean.
There's also the parks article coming forward. There's also municipal building design article coming forward. I think both debt exclusion probably.
Okay. That's how I see it.
This pales in comparison to all the other ones coming forward,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that, even at the tier or
So,
alternative 4.
so you had an accounting for how much chapter 90 money you're gonna allocate to. So is that in your spreadsheet?
Not in this one here, but I have it chapter 90 spreadsheet. I can call that up.
I do think we have to shift some of the burden onto the larger.
Sure, I was looking at this, if we go with the non-residential, the commercial one at alternative 4. And single and multifamily at alternative 1, we're looking at $493,000. So. Somewhere around alternative 2's total.
I really thought we had more residential properties than that. I didn't expect so many to fall out.
He also neglected the nonprofits. So there's a number of churches. And- I'm just saying.
It says
Well,
that
this-
I mean, we kind of have to leave them out, right? We can't include them in this.
It's 100,
I don't-
118 that are
Are
taxed.
you sure? Is that a law?
Yeah.
or something? Really?
Even though they're making use of the stormwater system.
I think we
I mean-
can't. Them.
If they pay, well, electricity is a utility, they pay that, right? Do they pay the wastewater?
Sure, they pay sewer.
They pay wastewater, that's utility. They pay for water, that's utility. Well, that's stormwater.
It doesn't say, so he says hundred and eighteen properties are classified as tax exempt or municipally owned.
Yeah,
So I don't know,
so it's, yeah.
of those 118, how many are nonprofits? Cause charging the town, I mean,
Where are you
Yeah,
seeing
that's
118?
on page 1,
Oh,
Yeah,
on
it's on
page
page
2, I've got 607. Oh, that includes 100% pervious. Never mind.
There's some pretty good parking spaces.
So I just found, it's in Tennessee, it's a town that's doing a stormwater utility. And they have a little fact that they put out, FAQ, I always call it fact. And it says, why are churches and schools being built? And then they said churches and schools impact stormwater utility systems just like commercial and industrial sites, providing for addressing stormwater as public service. So it's not impervious services on the parcels, they just go on, but there are towns that are taxed that are giving this,
Yeah.
charging churches and schools. I'm guessing not public schools. But maybe public schools. They're charging.
It makes sense to me. They pay electric,
Don't
they
do
pay
that.
sewer.
They pay
There's no
water, they
reason they
pay,
shouldn't pay.
they pay, sewage and they pay
Yeah,
electricity.
that makes sense to me.
so how many of these 118 are, private tax exempt? I don't think we
Good
know.
question, we need to know that. So we actually writing down.
Bill is.
I'm writing some questions
Yes.
for him, yeah. So I have my chapter 90 spreadsheet up and,
Oh.
right, you can see, fiscal 26, what do I got? I got 3 jobs there, 475,000, fiscal 27, 500,000. Fiscal 28, 275. Fiscal 29, 400,000, so every year I got something in there.
Just like,
For
yeah, between
some kind of
$400,000 and
drainage,
$500,000.
stormwater related.
The average of that is a number like 450,000.
Yeah.
So if you added 450,000 to choose a tier. Tier 1, that would actually take you up to 950,000. I think that was real close to me, what you were kind of looking for.
It does.
I say, start small.
When is the chapter 90 money awarded? When do you find out the number that you get for the year?
It's at the beginning of the fiscal year,
Is it?
yeah.
And it's not a reimbursement, right? You get, it goes into, or is it a
No,
reimbursement?
it's
I
a
can't remember.
reimbursement.
Okay,
We pay it out. You know,
okay,
I gotta get the project approved, then we do the work, we pay the
Yeah.
contractor,
Okay.
then we send in the paperwork to the state, they give us the
Okay.
money,
so it's not sitting in escrow somewhere earning
Right.
interest or anything.
right? There's a little bit that is, they gave us some, the rural spending,
Okay,
whatever it was, only like 25,000, there's a little bit that we have. But the bulk of it, yeah, they're sitting on it.
be pretty dependent on that money.
That doesn't sound like a bad news story to me. Honestly, tier 1 had the chapter 90. And you're real close to what he originally proposed. You might be a little bit short, but
I mean,
I didn't get the impression he was gonna cry if he didn't get everything he was gonna ask for.
You know, to weight some of these bigger, higher tiers a bit more, you could take like alternative 1 pricing up to a certain tier and then jump to like
Yeah, that was-
alternative 3 or something.
that was, sorry, that was what I was trying to
Okay.
describe.
Yeah, I
before,
think, yeah, I got the vibe. So basically, if
Yeah.
it's non-residential, tax based on, alternative 4, right?
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
it's residential, alternative 1.
And I think I came up with something like just shy of 500,000,
Okay,
but that was all non-residentials, like starting right at the top.
So
so if we do exactly what you said, let me just do a double sanity check on what you
Yeah.
proposed. 215 plus 22 plus 6. 493, is what did you say you
Yeah.
got? Okay, and you add like 450 to that, that's, well, gets chapter 90, you have to 943,000.
if,
Should we talk to the facility managers at Walmart and Keating and Powell and say this is what's coming? Or just do what we wanna do?
Good question. Yeah. We might get a lot of pushback, yeah.
Yeah, well, if you talk to them, you might get pushback, but if you just did it and posted on them and said. I can't.
I mean, they'll probably find out as we start
Yeah.
talking about it.
Cause that's gonna be another line item on their books of $10,000. Potentially, and that's. It's not gonna change, it's something that some manager someplace in the companies are gonna worry about. A new expense they didn't have before.
I'm not gonna feel guilty charging Walmart another $10,000 a year.
No, not at all.
Has anyone done a site survey meeting to make sure that all that waste is being treated properly?
They do get inspected
Okay,
and I remember the report. Does Brian inspect them? Somebody inspects them, cause they did say like dust control has improved, or
I can't. help it.
we get a report every year.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that could.
Yeah,
I can imagine if it's not maintained properly, just a constant stream of dusty water going into the drain waters after it rained it. And I can't help, that's gotta be something that someone has to worry about, someplace in this world.
Do they do earth removal there? Do they have a quarry?
Yes.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, then they're definitely getting inspected.
By the state.
I would say, but definitely by the town, maybe by the state if they've had bad reviews, but usually for an earth removal permit, you have to go before the town.
Yeah,
And get that reapproved every year and show your inspections, and I'm not sure
maybe
how it
that's
is
the
in
inspection
Lunenburg.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Powell brings in all that material and it's just sitting on the lot, and when the rain comes, it's gonna wash all the dust off all the material. And it's gonna get into the drain, the stormwater. They have a huge area they store the materials.
So that's the rate. What else does he cover here? The billing method. I mean, I'm inclined to put it on the property tax. I don't know if that's, if Munis would handle that well, but
Yeah.
just to try to keep overhead down, I think adding as a property tax bill may be the way to do that.
Yeah,
The bad thing is it comes across as a increase to your property tax, but
well, sure, well, if we can educate them, explain to them exactly what we're doing and what to expect. $5 a household per month is really chump changing. That's a cup of coffee. That's Starbucks.
oh, don't start the coffee comparison.
Hey, they started. Hold on.
Oh, that's gonna come up again. Actually, FinCom's meeting tonight. I forget who's presenting. We have to talk about process rules around delinquent payments, things like that.
Probably, how does the other utilities handle, delinquent payments?
So sewer, after, we give them a month to pay. After that, we put a $10 demand fee. And it starts accruing interest daily.
Oof.
We have a 27% delinquency rate
Wow.
On which
on
utility?
sewer.
Really? That's
One of
huge.
those was me. Cause we didn't get ours for like the first 9 months that we lived here.
Oh.
So we had $1,000 bill for the first bill.
So,
That was
sorry.
what?
So,
You
so it
didn't get-
matches your electric bill.
You said you didn't.
Oh
get
yeah,
that.
my electric bill last month was actually $1,000.
Yeah, I
So
know.
was mine, yeah,
Yeah, everybody, it went up
$1,000.
Supposedly we have all
in
heat
the
pumps.
winter.
Yeah.
Supposedly there's a new heat pump rate that was supposed to kick in January, but it did not. Maybe this
I don't
month
know.
I'll see it. Cause we
Does that have to
turned
be
our
separate?
furnace off.
So even with that delinquency policy, you still have a 27%, so it's not,
It's slowly climbing too.
wow.
Yeah, last year was like 25%.
So either it's not enough of a deterrent or
People just can't pay it.
people can't
And they
pay
know
or
we
just,
can't shut off sewer, right? So
yeah,
if there's a bill you're not gonna pay, that's
you
it.
can't shut off stormwater. I mean, what do you,
Right, exactly.
it's the same.
Mhm.
So what happens when they go to sell the property? You put a lien on the property or what is?
Yeah, so after a year, if they haven't paid for a year, then it goes on to their taxes,
Okay.
right? And if they don't pay their taxes after so long, then the town can take it
Okay.
over, right?
So it sounds like you just described a very similar process.
Yeah,
Okay, what's a typical stormwater, or not stormwater, but wastewater sewage bill? What is
so the minimum is 133,
a
so
quarter or a
a
month?
quarter.
A quarter, okay, that, that blows this out of the water. This is
Yeah.
like 8, you're like 12% of that, right? This is not a scary bill, in my opinion, $5 a month. And these big businesses, honestly, they've got a lot of land, a lot of impervious. And a lot of them produce a lot of waste product that gets into the stormwater system.
The place we're probably gonna get the most pushback for that though is like Walmart has mitigation, like that plaza has
Yeah.
stormwater mitigation in place already.
And you don't have to clean out their basins, do you?
No,
Okay, so you're right. So that honestly, truly, what you just said is true. If they do something proactively to manage stormwater on the property,
Yeah.
they should not be hammered with this tier 4, tier 10 alternative 4.
How do we tease that out? And are they
Well,
inspected? How do we know it's
Calculate the
performing?
amount of impervious area.
See? I mean, look what happened to Village of Flat Hill.
Mhm.
Cause then if you're gonna open that up,
Yeah, no, you're right. It gets too granular and too complex.
So Flat Hill is residences, right? Is it commercial or is it private?
that's private.
They should be treated as single families. Like I said, it's the.
No, I'm talking about inspecting, if you have some kind of mitigation system in place.
Okay,
Yes, it's installed. And Walmart may have some kind of whatever.
all right,
It's
but
not
they're not
inspected.
commercial. Right, treat
So,
them as single
yeah,
families.
yeah, but Walmart's not inspected, even though they have something in place. We don't know if it's performing, if it's working. Bill's not going out there and cleaning out the basins, but maybe nobody's cleaning out their basin and they
It
just,
could be a train wreck, so that it seems to me, if we're gonna do this, you should have, someone like you should have authority to go in there and inspect their system, make sure it's maintained.
It's gotta be in the bylaws, the town.
Really?
Well, it would be in their stormwater. Operations and management,
Oh,
that,
Right.
by law, I mean, depending on how long ago Walmart was built, that would have to be part of their filing. For building, so it should be attached to their deed.
I can see that.
There should be an O&M manual, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they're
it's
following
sitting
it.
in a drawer
Right.
somewhere.
And we have no mechanism to go and inspect it and then tell them, hey, you gotta fix this. Right, we ran
Yeah.
into Village of Flat
Yes,
Hill,
exactly.
and even newer homes, right?
Yep.
That we have a little more in there, right, to help us, but still, there's nothing. There's no enforcement mechanism.
And I think that
Well-
would put too much of a burden on us to try to check everyone and it just, would be overcomplicated.
There are towns that
So just
do,
let-
actually have somebody that records what there are some towns that, even if you're building a single family house, you have to have a stormwater management, some sort of offset. But, and then they have people that are actually keeping track of that and going out and checking on them. You know, if there's every 3 years or something. But I don't think we have that capability here.
No, we're not there yet.
All right, well,
They
maybe we
never-
could put it here, you know, charge them this, and if they want to reduce it, that they could show us their plans. And show us that they're proactively,
Well, you know, water's still coming off of their property,
Mhm.
right?
yeah,
They're slowing it down, cleaning it up, maybe, but it's still coming off their property.
And we know, I bet, how old is that? It's been there for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah,
So the code back then
it's way different.
is way different than what, that's part of the problem. The plans that are coming forward now, they need to adopt and,
Even now.
all the
it's not-
codes. It's
not
still
good.
not like 100-year storm. What does that mean today versus 15 years ago? It's very different.
utilities consultants.
Yeah, cause I think if we open that door, then you're gonna have residents saying, well, I'm gonna put this mitigation system in so I can get exempt from this. You know, and then you start chasing in bills going around inspecting and,
I don't think a resident would do that, because they're really not saving any money.
never say never. I've never ceased, I'm still surprised.
We'll cross that bridge later.
I mean, that's something we have with the planning board, stormwater approvals, is
Yeah.
their stormwater has to be accounted for to begin with. So if that were
And
the
it's part of
case,
the state law too. They have to
Yeah.
follow the state law.
everybody's property would already have the stormwater mitigation needed to exempt themselves from this. So yeah, we can't do that.
But again, whatever stormwater mitigation they put in place on these properties, there's
Yeah.
still water coming off the property.
Yeah,
Oh,
even if
sure.
it's
Right?
functioning
going
and it's
through their
optimal.
BMPs,
Yeah,
and Yeah,
yeah,
even if it's optimal, there's still flow coming off
Yeah, alright,
that goes onto the town that we still have to handle.
yeah.
And there's stuff coming off our roads. I mean, you live here.
Yeah.
You have business here. You're using the roads.
Mhm.
Did you take pictures of some of these stormwater emergencies that you had to deal with? Are you taking pictures so you can have
Yeah, good.
a record of it so that you can actually show people what you're actually doing with the money that you're providing?
Yeah.
That's what I suggested, because when we had that 7 inches of rain in like an hour. And you washed, and something washed away and you had to
Yeah.
respond to that, you should show people. Because, you know, I don't think everybody knows about it, but I can't feel like that's why you do what we do and why you need this money. Yeah, making it up, this isn't like we're not making this up. You know, pictures go a long way to
True.
selling the story.
I know a lot of residents that have photos,
That what?
that have pictures.
Sure, they've
Yeah.
submitted some of them to us.
I've been sent a few.
Okay.
So I think this is good. I think it's aligned with kind of at least what I expected.
Yeah,
I was hoping we would be collecting a little more at the first alternative, but I thought we had more properties. So that's the only surprise I have.
I mean, yeah, I think
I
it's
looked
still,
at them, $5 a month, I've just looked at that number.
for residents,
Sounds fair
absolutely,
number.
yeah. For commercial properties, I still think maybe we have some flexibility to,
Yeah, I think that's gotta be bumped up.
yeah,
And maybe not. It could be. Doesn't have to be equal across all tiers, maybe kind of a
Sure.
weighted,
first couple tiers stay
Yeah,
at 60,
right.
next ones, yeah.
right, something. I think there are options, but
Yeah. So the questions I have recorded here is, what is properties like Arrive? Where does Arrive fit into this? What can we do about the tax exempt, properties
Churches.
and churches? Those are the two questions I have recorded from this. What else do we wanna put forth? Or what else do we need clarification on?
I'd like them to rewrite that paragraph in section
Section
three.
three?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um. I didn't look at table 3 too much.
Who pays for the forests? Tax bills.
There's 4 of them though.
They mean the conservation land?
There's way more than 4 though.
Yeah.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
sure.
these numbers are very off.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking of more and more things that would definitely be in 10,
Oh.
like, but what's the campsite? The
Shady-
camp, yeah. Like,
Is that paved or is it all gravel? I've never.
There's a lot of gravel. I'm trying to think of how much is paved. I mean, is there 2 buildings there?
I think,
a
well,
lot.
there's the house. And then
Yeah.
a building. There's a lot of, I guess, there's a lot of stuff there all the time. Like people leave their campers there over the winter. Those are
Yeah, I
camp,
don't think that counts. I don't think that would get
Yeah.
counted as impervious. But yeah, I think the other question was, Jen asked for the breakdown of what properties
Yes.
are in these
Yes.
categories, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could.
Oh, well, not the single family, obviously, but. Yeah. I'd be curious to know if any other towns had done, like we were talking about, using different pricing tiers for different types, like for residential versus
sure.
non-residential.
Like what
If other
did,
towns, like
Concord
what we
do,
were
I
talking
think,
about,
yeah.
taking,
I
you
think
know, the tier 1 for residential and tiers 2, 3, and 4 for the different levels of non-residential. Mixing these 4 choices, basically. Instead of doing a flat.
Hmm.
I'll look into that one.
I think Nick would know.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think I settle on whatever pricing structure, right?
Gets them to the amount they need to get.
Yeah.
I think that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Right, so Nikki just laid these
Yeah.
out as different
Yeah.
options for us.
yeah.
The table 3.2 is kind of interesting. It says 55%, but if we go with like the alternative one for residential and alternative for commercial, that 55 becomes a number probably more than 45. So that's
Hmm.
my hunch is most people would say that's nice that this revenue is coming from commercial. In addition
Yeah.
to the residents, and it's like half as a lot.
It's very similar to trying to do a split tax rate. That's basically what we're trying to do, but. I mean, I would be in favor. of Bumping up these other ones a little bit.
Oh. Table 3.2, that's not number of properties, that's total ERUs.
The
So
second,
that's like single family unit equivalents.
Okay,
the second column is number of properties, so
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right.
that's that 3593. which I was hoping would be. I expected that to be higher. That's a number that surprises me.
Look at the commercial, 132 properties, 1492 ERUs.
So that's what, only 10 or 11 ERUs per property? Averaged out, I guess. Okay.
Should we consider making the forest exempt?
I wanna know more about that
Let's see
one.
what it is first, yeah.
Yeah, the vacant, 257 vacant.
Yeah. I have a funny feeling.
Are they gonna pay the bill?
Right on there, 95%,
What does that mean?
and recreational too.
Okay. Hmm,
Yeah,
yeah, I think this is,
This is the
This is
furthest
nice.
we've come along on the project, yeah. Yeah, Nick really did a service by,
yeah,
yeah,
pulling this
absolutely.
together for us.
So I know last meeting, you asked me to send in a warrant article, right? So
mhm,
I did. Right, it just basically says, will the town vote to allow us to give a verbal report?
yeah,
So, should be in the warrant.
I think it is. I think there might be I can't remember now, shoot. There might be a general one for updates from committees, boards, whatever, a catch-all.
Yeah,
I don't remember if it said specifically, cause I
Yeah.
think Jen was still working.
right, I haven't seen the list yet.
I have a draft. She presented a draft last week. Yeah, so. What are you gonna say? Are you gonna present or are you just gonna are you gonna,
I can,
How-
but
how
we're gonna have to
detailed?
talk about this
Yeah.
before then, right? What we're gonna,
yeah,
what our public message is gonna be.
so we're February, so we have March and April meeting. To decide what that update will be.
Right,
Okay. Oh, God, I hope we're early in the agenda.
Yeah.
No one's gonna wanna hear this, I have a feeling,
Well,
by the time
get
we
it out
get to the
there.
budget.
What is, you gotta get it out there a couple of times, right? What did I say, a year?
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
people will begin
Yeah.
to kind of sort of maybe accept it. So you gotta think of this as the, groundbreaking.
cause I think Jen was also suggesting. We talk a little bit about CPA to try to get some groundswell on that too,
CPA.
Community Preservation Act. It's a surcharge. Here.
Another expense, is it, want a cup of coffee?
Depends. Yeah. Okay, so that's something, so we need to talk about that. We have 2 meetings to.
Yeah.
Decide what that's gonna be.
Brainstorm that and start putting something together at the next meeting.
at least what it is and why we need it.
That's yeah,
Pictures.
Yeah,
yeah,
and stay away from dollars, I don't know.
I
Oh,
think
yeah, I
so,
don't think
I
we do
think
money
so.
yet.
Mm,
That would be the fall town meeting.
people-
Yeah.
People are gonna wanna know, be straight with them, they're not dumb, yeah.
No, it's fine, but
They wanna know, give them a clue.
let them know that businesses are gonna be paying their fair share of it.
Yeah.
That it's not just on the residents.
You're gonna get the rain tax comment, you
Yeah.
are going to get the rain
Right.
tax comment.
Sure. Well, let them hear it, here's with it.
Carter was very much in favor of it, Jen's very much in favor of it, I say it's needed. Kind of late. in terms of, a lot of other towns have already done this.
Does Leonard's Tribe a stormwater utility? Seems like they
I
could
don't know.
probably sell that after what happened. to them
After the last
year.
storm?
Yeah.
They didn't get much in terms of aid after that. That's my recollection, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Local climate is, they're not gonna get any federal aid.
Yeah. All right, so that's in a good spot. We'll come back and get some more answers next week or next month. Meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to go over the meeting minutes? I had a look at them when I put together the agenda. They look pretty good.
Yeah, I looked at them way back. I don't remember having any issues with them.
Did I just lose you guys?
But
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, it got really quiet. Did I lose you briefly or?
no, we're taking a nap.
Cause Tim has been frozen for like
Frozen?
15 minutes, but
Oh.
I could still hear you fine.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, no, he's moving.
Tim and Penfield moved, yeah.
The owl is stuck. Yeah, do you wanna, I'll move to approve the minutes of January 23rd.
Sure.
Second it.
Moved in second, all in favor?
I
Aye.
think,
I think I have to
Yeah.
abstain since I technically wasn't there.
if you,
Okay, well, we've got enough to approve it. as
Yeah,
is, so
yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Ongoing business, Springtown meeting, we need to figure out what we're gonna say. That goes with outreach.
Are we gonna speak at the next meeting or are they gonna just vote to have us speak at the next meeting after
I'm sorry, what?
that? So the warrant article is to vote
Yeah,
to allow us to speak.
yeah, it's just a formality.
This, okay, but
It'll be at that yeah.
it'll,
give an update,
the
yeah.
presentation will be at that meeting.
You have to have a motion to accept the report or
Okay,
something.
gotcha.
Yeah. And then maybe after Springtown meeting, we start with the PR campaign.
definitely. Does anybody have anything else they want to address?
The stormwater BMP, is that,
The demo one?
Yeah.
In Nick's email, he said, he should have it to us by the next meeting, the design.
that's
Great.
still going at the library, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Excellent. Well, if that's where we are, we'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Well, before we do,
Oh,
one
yes.
announcement,
Okay,
the bridge job and Flat Hill Road over Catacoulomb
yeah,
Brook, that is starting in 2 weeks.
Okay,
We're closing
Really?
2 weeks. Finally, March
Is-
7th.
all the snow and crap's gonna be out of the way in 2 weeks for you to start there?
We
Isn't
got
it
an
crap?
excavator.
Okay, all right.
so which road is this?
Okay,
Where is
Hill.
this?
Oh,
Flat Hill Road at Catacoulomb Brook.
Okay,
So Flat Hill Road, kind of near Reservoir Road.
okay.
how long is it as a project?
It's a couple months, so the
Yeah.
road will be closed until
Okay.
probably late April, early May. Depending on the weather,
Yeah,
so a couple months.
okay.
so is the ground frozen an issue or no?
We got a big excavator.
It's- So I was, I guess, asking the same question in a different.
You do it now, or you do
I
it when it's
thought
all
something-
and the equipment's
I
safe?
thought there was some
Water,
kind
nice
of,
and low, it's a good
Yeah.
time to do it.
I was sure the water department couldn't like do installations during the winter because the ground was frozen.
It is harder, yes,
It's just harder.
yeah,
Okay,
it can be done.
okay, gotcha.
So I found out the start date today, so
Wow.
it's gonna be publicized starting tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, okay, wow, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's a good spring and can get done on time.
So,
Through John?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, second,
Alright. Moved and seconded, all in favor.
Aye.
aye,
Hi,
Excellent.
Aye, aye, yeah.
take care, Jenny.
thank you. Have a good night, everyone.